Welcome to the Talkcast series, where we discuss anything and everything that helps you improve in your professional life. Today, we have some guests in the studio. Let's jump right in and meet them. Thank you so much, Irene and Mukisa, for joining me today to talk about your rebranding journey. I'd like us to get started by both of you doing a quick introduction of who you are.
Thank you so much for having us. My name's Irene. I am Fem Entity's Chief Operating Officer.
And my name is Mukisa. I am the CEO of Fementity.
Okay, thank you for that quick introduction. So, can you quickly just tell us a bit of your career journey up until the point where you started Fem Entity?
Up to the point where we started Fem Entity. So me and Kisa go back way into our years as little Dal students. I was in the B management program. She was starting her, I believe, psychology degree, Kisa, because she got degrees on degrees. So she's educated. But so yeah, we started at Dalhousie. We were very involved in the center of what's it called?
Career and Leadership Development Center.
Career and leadership. Yeah, and we were very highly involved in like student engagement, student empowerment. And so in after we completed our degrees and actually had us kind of a stable career opportunity, she reached out to me and was just like, I think I want to start a business. And I was like, great, what are we doing? And we both love empowerment. We both love giving empowering women and wellness initiatives. So we were like, let's do something around that. And that really pushed us into formulating what is now Fementity.
Okay, so can you tell us a bit about what Fem Entity does?
Sorry, Fementity is basically your digital wellness gateway. So we have a website called fementity.ca where we offer memberships to both individuals as well as businesses. So if you're a business, you can set up a profile, you'll be in our diverse directory, and we basically send you referrals, we give you opportunities to collaborate with other creators, and we basically just have a community around wellness. And then if you're an individual, basically if you're somebody who's looking for any sort of self-care, then you can come to us and we can link you up with people who are in our directory. That can be a massage therapist, that can be a consultant, that can be your regular psychotherapist. Whatever you need, we got you. So we mainly work with women, but we work with anyone and everyone who wants to get more in touch with themselves, their feminine energy, and they just want to be empowered.
Oh, great. I'm going to ask. So at that point when you both decided this was it for both of you, were there certain steps you had to take to get the brand to where it is today?
Oh, wow. So many steps, so many trials and tribulations. Um,
Definitely, and many, many vibes and vision sessions.
so many vibes and visions. Now we have like our vibes and visions are usually us getting together and being like, what do we want? And that's usually the overarching question. Is like who, like if at the core of who Irene and Mukisa is behind Fem Entity, are we doing what we're doing through Fem Entity that brings us joy? And so that's something that we really took through the entire development of Fem Entity. Obviously there's a lot of the regular regulations of like get your business registered, get a marketing plan, get a business plan, like figure out your financials and that kind of thing. But in creating the three main pillars of Fementity, which is inner balance and wellness, empowerment and community care, and feminine sexual health, that really involved a lot of time that me and Kisa took of reflection of ourselves, of like, if we were to use a platform such as Fementity, what would we want to get out of it? And so we kind of built that with that mindset involved, with the layer of if we do this, does this bring me and Kisa both joy? And in every aspect of Fementity and what it is, we are so thrilled in how it has become this brand that amplifies wellness and empowerment and women and sexual health for women.
Okay. Kisa, do you want to add on to that, or
Yeah, sorry, can you repeat the
so
question?
saying that were there certain steps you had to take when you knew that Fem Entity was it? Were there certain steps you had to take to get to the brand that it is today?
The steps we had to take, yeah. So I would agree with Irene. Very many sessions of just us sitting down, mapping out a sort of vision, and really talking that through. So, like, making sure that both my vision of Fementity and her vision of Fementity were aligned, and then also how we could expand that to other businesses. So, I would say that was one of the many steps that we had to take. And then in terms of just supports and help, I would say like we are very keen on leaning on each other as well as community members for support. So got into the Black Girls Gather program, and that was a program for entrepreneurs to really develop their business ideas. So we walked through a business plan, we walked through getting funding, we walked through marketing, and they connected us to all of these different people who were able to really flesh out these sort of ideas that we had. So I would say that was a really big step for us to be able to start our business, is getting that extra support from other women that we admire and look up to.
Interesting. Um, just a couple of more questions. So on this journey, was there a point in time you had to reinvent yourself to be a founder? Because it's kind of different when you're a nine to fiver and when you decide to own or start a business. There's some kind of reinvention done. There's some things you just have to change some certain things about yourself or just become someone different. So were there certain steps in terms of reinventing yourself to become a founder? Because I know you both wear two hats. So I just want to know like what were those like reinvention process for you to say, okay, I'm the CEO, I'm the co-founder of this particular organization.
Yeah, I mean, I would say we both come from a background of leadership, so we definitely weren't shy about starting a business. I feel like we had the idea and then really just jumped into it. So we're like, okay, what's the planning? What are the legalities? That's always where my brain goes. What are the legalities? What do I need to put in place for this to be legal and have the contracts and everything? So we would sit down with each other, we would seek legal advice, but in terms of reinventing ourselves, I would say we're constantly reinventing ourselves. We're constantly reassessing if what we're doing is aligning with our values, if what we're putting out there is aligning with who we said Fem Entity is and who we represented ourselves to the public. And then also just bringing it back to wellness because that is really the core foundation of what we are trying to do. So sometimes we have so many ideas every day of what we would like to do with Fementity, events, trips, products, and everything. But we do have to sometimes ground ourselves and be like, okay, is this really aligned with wellness and what we want to achieve with this business?
Nice. What about you, Irene?
Yeah, that's so. Kisa's hit it right on the nail where it's like we're both constantly checking in every time we do an initiative. We're like, does this feel good? And there's sometimes the answer is no, and we have to action on that, and then we gotta pivot. But then when it does fit, it's fulfilling. It feels good. Um, I, for one, definitely feel that when we entered into this wellness space, I'm very much someone that's like I could go 9 to 5. I could keep working if I wanted to. If I really push the boundary, I could keep working. And what growing Fementity has taught me is that rest is still productive, and that time and taking your time to achieve something is also very productive and very important. And so for me, my biggest change is actually recognizing that rest is productive, even when I'm resting from my business, which is something that is very new to me. And Kisa reminds me so well that I'm on my own timeline. We're on our own timeline. And being a business owner, I feel like we get so caught up in our head of like, oh, somebody's watching and someone's expecting this and someone needs us to go now. And my head is very much like that, where I'm just like, why do tomorrow when I can do in this very moment? So Kisa very much balances me and reminds me so much that we are on our own timeline of excellence, that we can achieve great things with patience and with rest and with perseverance. And by checking in with ourselves to know that like is this aligning with what we want is has been like the foundation of a lot of what me and Kisa do.
Yeah, thank you. Like I just some of the things you said, both of you said just resonated. Like reinventing is every day. Like you can't stop. Like I tell folks that there's never a time where I say, "Oh, this is it," and you stop. Then you start to lose value. It's like this is it. I'm like, okay, so how do I improve on what it is right now? Then the other word about rest is it's very crucial because yesterday I was reading a book and I saw something and it said rest is also a strategy, and that stuck. Like, oh my, yes, it is. Because I'm also like you, Irene. I feel like when I'm resting, I'm wasting time. Because even in my sleep, I'm thinking. So I wake up, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do this. So, but just seeing that yesterday, like rest is also a strength. I'm like, yeah, because when I rest or when I take vacations, I come back better with greater ideas than when I kind of think through everything when I'm tired. So it's yes, that's spot on. So that's really good. So my last question, and it's very simple, and it's for both of you. How would how would you say people define you? If they say Irene, oh, they define irony. It's a simple question, but it's deep because I've asked myself that question. You don't want to know the answer. It helps you think. It's like an interest. It helps you just think deeper. Like, how would someone actually define me if they hear of my name? What's the first word that comes to them?
Damn, that's a good one.
That is such a hard question.
Wow,
How would
that's
you
so
say people
simple but
define you?
so
Because it's
deep.
different from how would you define yourself, right?
Wow. Kisa, you want to go first?
Um, I guess I would say supportive. And I mean, there is a lot to unpack there because obviously, being a woman, we're relied on for support always, and we're always, seen as like the nurturing. But I do really embrace that. Like Irene said, I was in school for psychology. I at first wanted to be a psychologist. I feel like career was always really ingrained into me, and I took that and turned it into, okay, if career is going to be such a huge part of my life, then I needed to be something meaningful. So I always wanted a career where I could help people. So I've just become that person who's like, if you need an ear just to vent to, if you need advice, you need somebody to connect you to supports, like that has been me. And I feel like Fementity is kind of
That's good.
built
Supportive.
off of
Okay.
that.
What about you, Irene?
Yep, that is so Kisa. That is so Kisa because Kisa is my support in so much of my life. Um, like, yeah, that is so spot on. I think I would say strong. If someone were to think about me, I think strong in like strong minded, strong willed, strong physically. I feel like I'm very capable. Because one thing that even as a child, it's like the everything around us can fade away, but our being and our morals and our values are still strongly ingrained in me. And I feel that growing up, I was taught of like have a strong mind, have a strong voice, have a strong presence in everything that you do because there's not a lot of people like us. So like let's be loud. Um, and that's something that I've definitely taken into my career. And like even at university, I was like, I want to stand out. I want to be a strong force. I want people to see me and know that they can't be in my way, even though I'm 5 feet tall. So I feel like if someone were to describe me, I'd hope that they would
That's
say
strong.
strong.
That's a strong thing, but I'm sure they will definitely. And yeah, I'm not going to share mine because I'm just all over the place. Oh, I think I have two. One is creative.
You should. You should
Because
share
I
yours.
just breathe ideas
Ooh,
and they're
creative.
tired of me. Like everyone's like, you know what, stop. Then the other one is resourceful. And that it's so good at when I was trying to get my first job in Canada, one of the referees put it there like, if you want anything, ask courage. And and he said that because I always produce everything he asked. That he came visiting and they're looking for like a mask. I'm like, all right, hold on, let me check my bag. And I brought out four because I had a pack. Like I go with everything. I'm thinking of the next thing that oh, someone might need this. Let me just take an extra one. She's like she's very resourceful. So those two, I would say, yeah. But I
Right.
think some creative can be could be confusing. Like, well, yeah. But that's
That's so
anyway.
good.
Thank you so much for
I
taking out
love it.
time, and I'm very sure that your story is going to inspire someone to just go rest and to lean on people for support. Yeah,
Well, thank you so
great
much
to
for
meet you
inviting us. It
too.
was great
Yeah.
to meet you.